The next one I want to talk about is thaw. Now, earlier I mentioned the snow melting. Thawing is a little bit different. And I have a couple sentences for you. Thaw does not mean the same as melt, but they're close. So when you think of melt, think of that ice cube. So you have something solid, it melts, and it becomes liquid. The difference between melting and thawing is that it doesn't change into a liquid. It goes from being frozen to not being frozen. And a lot of times you will hear this. If you stay outside and it's cold, but then you come inside, you might hear, I need to warm up so my bones can thaw. Now, is that real? No. But we will say that like, oh, I'm so cold. My bones need to thaw out. You might hear that sometimes too, thaw out. Another thing too, sorry to our vegetarian friends, but if you eat meat or let's say vegetables, sometimes you might need to thaw them out before you can cook them. And the most common thing you'll hear is meat. So to make your meat last longer, you might keep it in the freezer. But before you cook it, you might take it out of the freezer. We call that thawing. So you might leave the meat out for 12 hours for it to thaw so you can cook it later that night. Maybe in the morning, you take it out of the freezer, leave it in the refrigerator for 12 hours, and it will thaw. But ice melts into water. Hope that makes sense. Those two differences there. Yeah. Oh, Shacham. Excellent choice. There is no difference between defrosting and thawing. It's the same word. It's the same thing, but we do have two different words for it. Yeah, let's talk about that. Almost, Samra, almost. We might say that they are dewdrops. So we might say that they kind of are like dewdrops right there. Oftentimes, when you wake up in the morning and it hasn't rained, but the grass is wet, we will call that dew, and sometimes dewdrops.